Hello, everybody, and welcome back to One Hub Racing. We are here for one of our pre-game launch events, and when I say we, of course, none other than Colin joining me in the commentary box. Welcome, Colin, to F1 25.
Well, we're back. We're back with a vengeance. I can't wait to get this going, and this is going to be a bit bizarre, Nick. They're going to be going the wrong way.
Yeah, I think it's also going to take us a little bit of time to get used to, not just the drivers in terms of commentary. So they'll be exiting the pit. The normal pit exit will be, the normal pit entry will be where they exit. So that's why you'll see the cars heading that way. The safety car you can see in the background facing that way. And the format tonight, Colin, short qualifying session followed by a 25% race.
Yeah, so it should be really good. So qualifying is going to be quite important, really, because you haven't got as many laps as you would normally in a one-hub race, which is obviously 50%. And it's going to be very interesting to see how people cope with going in reverse. I mean, it's spinning me out already, but it's brilliant. I did actually have a go at Silverstone in reverse, and it is brilliant. I actually really like it, especially through Maggots and Beckett's, which of course you're approaching a lot slower, Nick, than normal.
Yeah, yes, definitely. I wonder whether I haven't tried any of them, but I wonder whether it'll ruin some of the great corners. Like, for instance, Stowe. You know, you arrive down the Wellington Straight normally into Stowe, and you just sling the car into the right-hander there. Whereas now it's going to be, towards the start of the lap rather than the end of the lap. As you said, a lot reduced speed. So a lot of drivers heading out. Short qualifying session, as we said. To determine the grid for the 25% race. This little mini championship is 3 rounds long. Obviously, the 3 reverse tracks that we have in this F1 25. And let's talk a little bit about the new game, Colin. Thoughts, feelings, hopes, anticipation?
Well, I wasn't a fan of F1 24, the handling the way it was. My opinion on F1 25, and this just my opinion, but I think it's one of, if not the best F1 game they've ever done. To be honest, if they had a couple of classic cars or classic tracks, it would easily be the best game. But they are novelty things. We don't tend to use them that often, let's be perfectly honest. And I think it's great. The graphics are a dramatic improvement. The handling is brilliant. It's really good fun to drive. The force feedback for me is a lot better as well. And I'm just genuinely excited to race it because I genuinely believe it is a huge improvement on F1 24. I think it's the best F1 game since at least 2020.
Just interesting riding on board with Callum there, going obviously reverse, the wrong way around the track. Things like cots, not the run-off area that you're used to. If you do go a little bit wild, you'll be dipping wheel on the gravel. And then we're ending the lap in this tight and twisty section. So we're coming through what would normally be turn 1 if we're riding on board with Callum. Is it flat? I think that was flat. And he crosses the line. It's a 126.7 to start us off. What's it in terms of lap time comparison to like the right way round? Do we know?
It's very, very close actually. The times between forward and back, there's not a lot in it at all. I think it's literally tenths from what I found. So weirdly, I still can't get my head around that. But yeah, apparently it's not that much different lap times wise. Now, how overtaking is going to be. Obviously, they've moved a couple of DRS zones as well. So I think there's a DRS zone now going down the pit straight.
Okay.
So a possibility of a manoeuvre into what would be the club chicane. So that's going to be interesting turn 1 with all of them heading in there. But it's going to be really interesting. But Nick, talking to a couple of the drivers, we've got currently in 5th place on a 28.5 is a one-hub debutant, Codemasters, if I think I pronounced that right, which of course is one of our admin's brother. So that's great to see a family connection in one hub as well.
Yeah, well, I think Mark's getting a bit old and a bit washed in his old age, so it's time to get a nice bit of fresh life in the lobby from the same household. So yeah, let's see how he performs, and I wonder if he'll be racing in the actual season 27, which of course there'll be news on that very soon. Whether there'll be two racing at the same time, that'll be interesting for connection and a bit of rivalry.
Yeah, it will be, yeah. Although I think at the minute they're sharing a PC, so I think how long that will last, I don't know. I can see Mark getting a new PC quite soon. But looking at the grid at the minute, so he's got Callum still on top, who's shown great pace on this game from the little bit of practice that we have done with the Welshman. Curry there up in third place, Sallow up in fourth place. I'm convinced, Nick, that he's going to get his first victory this season.
Yes, I think he has to. He's been knocking on the door for some time, and now that he's joined the admin team, I think that it's only right that he gets that extra 10th advantage from being on the team and gets his first win.
Yeah, and can Jess, you know, she had an astonishing season in season 26. Can she take forward that good progression that she's had, because she's just improved so much? Can she make that little step again? I know, Nick, that her target is not to be in the bottom tier this season. I don't know about you, Nick, but I think that's more than doable for her.
Yeah, definitely. I think with the excitement that F1 25 has been building, and you know, One Hub Racing being a place that drivers want to race, I think that we could see 3 tiers this season, a return of 3 tiers after only 2 on F1 24. And as you can see there, one of the new drivers, say in the league, in the Mercedes, currently in 16th place, dipped the wheel on the grass there as he started his lap. And that's obviously, you know, slightly different curbs and things that you would expect. So on the entry, often you've got the run-up area, and then on the exit, it's just grassy other side of the curb.
Yeah, that's the thing. You got to. I think this is the thing with the track, because of course the curbs are set in such a way for going forward. You haven't got that little bit of comfort before you get right on the grass. So it's going to be. It's going to be quite disorientating, not only for us, but obviously for the drivers. But I know, speaking to Mason, he actually really enjoys Silverstone in reverse. He said it's a lot of fun. Yet to set a time though. Looking at his car, it's quite dirty, so I don't know whether he's decided he wanted to work for the council for a bit and cut the grass, but he is back up and running now. He is on a lap, currently in 14th. Matthias yet to set a lap. Matthias, another driver, Nick, who had a great end to the season last year, but struggled at the beginning.
Yeah, I think you know, that consistency over the course of the season is what helps you, you know, get to that top 3 and win yourself a trophy. And of course, for this event, there is a One Hub Racing medal up for grabs, as well as a set of One Hub Racing joggers.
Lovely.
Yeah, if you finish on top, you'll be winning yourself those. Of course, sponsored and partnered with Vespertine. So feel free to go and check out our merch over on their website. And just interestingly, Cole, just want to mention a few names here. So a lot of these drivers raced last season, but those who didn't and aren't new and are making a comeback are Gazaman. So he's a very well known driver within the One Hub Racing community that's missed the last few seasons. He was on the admin team at one point as well, so he's making his comeback. And then you've also got where is he? Vitinho down in 15th place in the Ferrari. So he hasn't raced for a few seasons since he moved over to PC. And of course, now that One Hub Racing is crossplay and he's got the time to do it, he has signed straight back up to One Hub Racing. You can see him right in the curbs there at the end of this lap. A little bit of a messy section if you get the first part of it right. But imagine the club corner then, Cole. It's like a double left, quite fast double left-hander there to end the lap. Start the lap, sorry.
Yeah, it's really good actually. It's very difficult to find your braking point. I ended up missing it by about a week for the first couple of laps. But it's surprising. When I first heard of them doing it in reverse, I was like, well, that's not going to work. But actually, it's really good fun. But yeah, going back to our returning drivers, brilliant to see Gazaman back. It really is brilliant. Such a nice bloke. Like you said, Nick, he was one of our admin for many years as well, and he's raced with us many times before. I will have a look actually on the database, see how many races he has actually done with us. But we also got Larkin back with J. Cole as well, which is great. Obviously, they usually go teammates, so I suspect, Nick, that they'll be teammates again. They are both. They're not in the Mercs together, actually. So we've got Larkin in a Merc, J. Cole in a Williams. Good man, J. Cole.
Yes, and obviously J. Cole did some commentary last season on the top tier rather than racing. And then, yeah, it's almost like you don't have one without the other. So I expect to see them teaming up this season. And as per usual, I imagine Larkin will be leading the two as a number one driver, and J. Cole setting into his familiar second driver role.
Do you know what? As soon as you said that, J. Cole just spun. I think he was so disgusted by that comment, he made him spin.
Well, look at him go as he passes Casper, I think. They got a bit close, actually, almost wheel banged there. So I'm not sure if one interfered with the other's lap. But Callum's still on top of the moment with a 26.3. And then you got Marco, who was new last season to One Hub, and himself and Curry, I imagine, will be teammates again. And look how close they are, tenth of a second, separating the two drivers. And in between them, you've got Kieran Salou looking quick. He showed this sort of pace last season, didn't he? And be interested to see whether he can fight for that title, because if he can start banging out some wins, he's going to be there.
He certainly doesn't need any advice from a washed Welsh driver, but I think all Salo needs to do is just drive at like 97, 98%, because he's already got the pace. Just leave a little bit in hand to cut out a little bit of errors, but not only that, then you've got a bit more brain capacity to think about strategy, etc, 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 because he doesn't need to go quicker. He's already blisteringly fast. Just needs to try and cut out, and when they're mistakes, they're very, very minor ones as well. But I did feel sorry for him for, I think it was, I can't remember what circuit it was now, I think it was Japan that he won, but J-Luke got an unjustified penalty issued by the game, and the stewards obviously removed it, which cost him the race win. But I'm sure he's going to get one soon, Nick. I'm convinced of it.
So Kieran's on a lap here, currently in third. Can he break into the 26s? We'll have to wait and see as he heads towards the Sector 1 split. And interestingly as well, Cole, if we have a look down, Joe down there in 9th place, he's another driver who I think could potentially do really well this upcoming season. He showed some strong pace in season 26. He can transfer that, especially if he teams up with Salou again. I think they could be an unstoppable force.
Oh, hell yeah, I would have thought so. Joe was, he was very, very good. He did get quite unlucky a couple of times. Things happened that were a bit out of his control, so he didn't get all of the luck in the world. But his driving was, really consistent as well, which is, that is the key for a championship, isn't it? It's not about, race wins. It's more about consistently being on the podium. Our friend Proverb proved that a couple of years ago, where he won the P3 championship and he never won a race.
Yeah.
Just consistently on the podium. So, I to be honest, I can see that being replicated again. It nearly happened in real Formula 1, actually. I got a feeling Alan Jones won his championship and only won one race the whole season. So, being consistent is the key. So we've got just under 3 minutes left on the clock, Nick. Can anyone get anywhere near Callum?
Yeah, you can tell Callum's been sweating this new game. That's for sure. We raced him a little while ago in some open lobbies, and he was rapid already. So yeah, perhaps he needs to go cut some grass, like your dad was doing earlier. But Gaza saying he loves being back on track. It's good to have you back. It's always great to have drivers who take a hiatus and then come back to the home of the racing. So, what about your dad, Cole, in the McLaren? Is he on an in lap or is he on a fast lap?
Let's have a look. So I think he's on he's got no battery left whatsoever. So I think he's probably on his in lap. I think he, looking at that. But 8th at the minute, I think he'd be happy with that, to be honest. You know, he's racing against some very, very fast drivers. We've still got a couple of minutes to go, obviously. Casper, no, I know Casper hasn't managed time to practice this. He's been out there quite a lot. He's doing, because he's done 4 laps on those softs, so I think he's just getting used to the track as best he can, I think, to be honest, which is not a daft idea at all. F1 Matthias in 16th, Jess currently in 17th, but they're both on outlaps.
Yeah, very close between those two in terms of lap times, 29.804, 29.812. So Gaza's just done a personal best in Sector 1 as he heads through this twisty section, which is famous across all the circuits. And you can see most drivers now out on either an outlap or a flying lap. Let's ride on board with the Mercedes of F1 HL. Let's see as he starts his Sector 1. Heads towards Stowe, going to use the curb on the right hand side, sling it in, not as much speed carry through as if he went the other way round. Bang the DRS open down this hanger straight, and then here we go, Cole, throwing the car in.
Oh, it's just brilliant through here. Because you're approaching it a little bit slower than you normally would. It's not quite the challenge it was, but the speed you can carry, it's not far off flat out. So it's just left, right. Oh, does touch a bit of grass on the exit there, so that will slow down a little bit. So now we're going to come into Luffield now. And we're going to be heading now back onto the Wellington Straight, which is quite a long straight here, so it's going to be really important to get this corner right and down the Hamilton Straight now, I think they call it.
Yeah.
As he heads into the very fast right-hander. Now this is where it's really tight. You can see he's lost his inside brake, so that's a really tricky braking zone. But it looks a quite solid lap. Oh, a bit squirrely on the exit.
Is it flat here?
Easy flat through here.
Easy flat. So jumps up to 9th.
That's a solid lap time, that, actually, to get in the top 10. Very, very good. Larkin is on a lap, and he's currently 2/10 up in the other Mercedes.
Marco currently did a 26.7, but Callum improves even further to do a 26.0. Blistering pace from Callum there.
Wow. I think we need to do balance of power with Callum. That's astonishing pace.
Salou
really
jumps up into 4th ahead of Curry. Curry still on a lap, doesn't improve. Yeah, look at that. Salou and Kieran set the exact same lap time. Larkin jumps up to 6th. What about Kieran? Kieran crosses the line. He improves into the 26s. And who have we got left? Just Gaza and Matthias. Gaza comes into the pits. Matthias last man, 8/10 up after 2 sectors. What's it going to be? Finishes 9/10 up and jumps into 13th. Just jumped up into 12th position there as well. So we said those two like to be close, and here they are again. But that is your first qualifying session for this Reverse Championship. Done and dusted. 3 seconds separating the entire field, and Callum with a 7/10 gap between himself and the man sitting next to him on the front row of the grid.
That's an astonishing lap from Callum there. I wish I was on board that one. I might have learned something. But because Marco there in 2nd place, you know, he's no slouch. He won races in P1 last season. But Callum looking like a real early favourite for the for this first race win. But anything can happen in this, Nick. They're not going to be used to racing around here against other cars. That's going to be the killer thing. Overtaking, defending, a lot of these drivers have been league racing for so long, aren't they? So it's going to be very different as I quickly run through the order. So we got Callum in pole position on a 26th flat. Then we got Marco, then Kieran, Salo, a great qualifying in 4th, Curry in 5th, Larkin in 6th. Then we got J. Cole, Coulter, Mason, F1 HL, Joe in 11th, Jess in 12th, Matthias in 13th, Gaza in 14th, Vitinho in 15th, his Brazilian compatriot Lord Brocco in 16th, and Casper will be the back of the pack in 17th in his Visa Cash App.
So interestingly, 3 Finnish drivers racing here tonight. You've got a couple of Welshmen in there as well, as you are, Colin. And I think what's going to be really interesting here is the run down to turn 1, because turn 1 on the normal layout, going the correct way round, is just kind of just follow through, but you can sometimes collide rear to left, front to rear wheels if not enough space given, whereas this is more of a slow speed double left-hander. So is anyone going to try and sling it down the inside, take a tighter line?
Yeah, they could well do, but of course it's such a tight chicane, you could dive down the inside, but if you're going to run slightly wide, you're going to have such a slow run then as you head towards Stowe. And of course, Stowe is pretty much flat out now, I would have thought, going in reverse. And you've got that long hanger straight. You're going to lose so much momentum down there. So it's going to be a hectic first chicane, I think, Nick.
Yeah, I think it will be. And be interested to see whether Callum runs away with it, whether he's got the same race pace. And also, Cole, on the last game, we did a restart between qualifying and the race, whereas here there will be no restart. It's what tyres you've got for both sessions. There's a formation lap, of course, and then also it is only a one-stop race. One Hub Racing typically is a 2-stop lead.
One thing I will say, this is the first time that I've actually been in spectator mode on this game, and the graphical improvements, they are quite considerable. As we know, they dumped the support for the PS4 and the old Xbox, and it's given them a lot more processing power and a lot more freedom. And doesn't the game look great, Nick?
It does. It really looks great. Not just the cars and the track, but you can see that they've done improvements to the surrounding grandstands and the barriers and just the aesthetics around the track. They tried to go into a bit more detail. Obviously, you can see those houses on the right there. I think I sent you, Colin, the link to them, how much they cost, but imagine owning one of those. Different sort of planet to what you and I will probably ever experience. But you never know, we might win the lottery at some point.
It's like the house in Belgium. I'm sure you all know about it. As they go up Eau Rouge and Radion, when they look backwards, you can see that house in the corner. And that would be an astonishing place to live, especially on race day. But there's the possible race strategies. So it's obviously going to be a one-stop because it's only 25%. Soft medium or possibly soft hard. Be interested to see. The guys near the back, let's just have a look to see what tyres everyone is starting on. Actually.
A right mixture, Cole. An absolute right mixture.
Yeah, look at that. No one has a clue, basically. So all we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 drivers starting on softs and 9 on mediums. Callum decided to start on the mediums, but Marco in second on the soft. So is he going to get a better run than him?
Callum's overshot his grid box there. He went so far on. He actually went past the start-finish line.
Well, that was a big. I don't know what happened there. Didn't he maybe had a problem with his pedals or what? I don't know. But of course he's going to be a lot further back. Yeah,
he was accelerating and did a break, but then just kind of just overshot it. And obviously you got Marco alongside him. Here we go, 5 red lights on the soft tyres in second place. Here we go for the round 1 of the reverse championship around Silverstone, and away we go. It looks like Salu didn't get the best of starts, and look at that, Marco's already got ahead of Callum, so that's cost him. And I said the double left-hander there, as you see some brake markers, some smoke going. That's horrible for the drivers. Anyone going deep there, and Callum in second place. And it looks like everyone might have got through unscathed. Both Ferraris, the Brazilians, at the back of the grid. You can see Curry has moved up, and you can see in 11th place, the Mercedes-Man F1HL has moved up as well. Bettino trying to claw some spaces back. Here we go, side by side. Salu and Kieran. And look at that. Kieran manages to keep the position.
That was brilliant. What a start from Marco. He needed to do that really on those soft tyres, because he's got to use these softs now. He's got to try and get as far ahead of Callum as he can. Really.
There's a car off. Alpine. Alpine, that is Joe, I think.
Yeah, Joe, really far wide. Manages to keep it in a straight line. Obviously, his tyres are not going to be in the best of nick for the next couple of corners, but he does stay on track just as he's coming back on. Doesn't cause too many problems, but he is now down in 11th. Mason up to 9th, Larkin and J. Cole in 6th and 7th. Any team orders between these two, I wonder? Let's wait and see. But Callum is just about sticking with Marco at the minute. He's within that important 1 second for DRS, Nick.
Yeah, Gaza is also right on the back of Jess, so those two very good friends know each other well on track, and Joe recovering from that moment as Kieran almost falling outside of the DRS. How powerful is the DRS around this this reverse layout, Cole? Is it as powerful as, say, the hanger straight down into Stowe, or is it a bit nullified?
I'm unsure, actually, because I've only actually tried this track in TT, not racing against other cars. But looking at it, I don't think it's going to be as strong as... I don't think it's going to be as strong as going the right way as poor old Casper, now down in 17th. He did have a good start. He did move up to 14th place, but unfortunately, he is around. I'm just going to see if he's got any damage. I don't think he's... No, I think he's okay. He's got away with it. But he's got some clean air now. Let's see if he can gain back up to the front of the pack. Oh, no, correction. He has got front wing damage, so he's going to have to pit. So I suspect he'll box for hards, Nick.
Yeah, hards will go to the end. I was thinking that, actually. If it was me, I would have probably started on softs. Just in case I had a bit of an incident, I could do mediums probably the rest of the way. But tyres obviously new to these drivers on this F125, how they handle in race conditions. Some of these drivers will be experiencing it for the first time, as Mason is now all over the back of Mark's brother. And look at that. See, Mark's brother giving room there to Mason. If that was Mark, you would have closed the door and caused an incident. So great racing from Coulter. And if I had to pick, I'd probably have him in the league rather than that Scorpion Hun.
I'm saying nothing, Mark. I'm not saying anything, mate. I'm comfy on my fence, thanks. Yeah, Mason there up to 8th. Do you know what? I've been really impressed with Dad on this game. We had a little bit of a race around Austria, and he was flying around there. He really was. I was expecting him to start to go a little bit slower because he is 70, but he's getting quicker, which baffles me, to be honest. But yeah, Mark's brother's having a really good race, actually, because of course he's very new to this. Don't forget, this is his first league race that he's ever done. You know, obviously he would have done a bit of online, but it's not the same. But he's got some very good racing awareness, Nick.
Yeah, definitely. And should we see how many times we can slander Mark in this championship? But no, J. Cole and Salu went side by side earlier in the lap. Looks like Salu is still ahead at the moment. So when do we think these soft runners will come into the pits? And they'll obviously have to consider when the other car comes in, because although they're not strictly teammates, they'll obviously share a pit box. But Callum doesn't seem able to get the job done on Marco. So are those soft tyres holding up okay? Looks like Kieran's going to start attacking Callum a bit more so as the top three break away from Curry in 4.
Experiences, the soft tyres on this game are not very good. As we say that, Callum takes the lead as he goes into the Maggots and Beckett section. He is now in the lead. Now, does that mean that those soft tyres are starting to struggle?
Yeah, possibly. We know that obviously you start to lose the grip, and we know that on this game the dirty air is a huge factor when driving behind the car in front, but we're not too sure. Does it affect tyre wear? Does it affect overheating? Have they simulated that the same way that, you know, it happens in Formula Life? But what's going to happen here is Marco going to get the DRS and potentially get a move done. I don't think so. I don't think it's long enough, this straight from reverse, the corner prior to the straight, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see, as J. Cole now is on the back of Salo. Salo's having a really great race. He's only just outside the DRS of Curie ahead, just a couple of seconds off the lead. So Salo's having a blind over race here. J. Cole behind him, got the DRS. Larkin is slowly but surely catching J. Cole, about to get DRS himself. And Mason's actually catching the pair of them as we've got... I think we got a spinner. Oh,
Coulter.
It's Coulter. That's such a shame. He was driving really well. Has damaged his front wing, unfortunately. I'm just trying to work it. Oh, and he's just missed the pit lane as well.
Yeah, I was riding on board. He went side by side with Jess through kind of that whole last sector, and then the last corner. Abby, as they were going through it, they just kind of touched his right hand side front wheel to Jess's inside side pod. So it was tight. Did Jess leave enough room? Probably just about, but it was very tight.
But he can have a lot of comfort because his pace is very, very good, especially for somebody new to league racing. He can come in now, get a set. He's on the medium, so he'll probably have to jump onto the hard compound tyres. Yeah. Are we going to blame Mark for that, or?
Probably was downloading a film or something and gave Coulter a dodgy connection. That definitely wasn't Coulter's fault or Jess's fault.
No. So what have we got now? Back up the lead. So Marco's right. He's still sticking with Callum. He's in his DRS. Kieran is...
Curry, sorry, Cole. Curry and Salu are first to box off of these soft compound tyres. Mason follows them in, and there was a good little battle between Matthias, Lord, Brocco, and Gaza. They were having a little ding-dong down there, but this pit stop on what will be lap 5, these drivers are coming in. Will be really interesting to see how. And look, the soft tyres don't seem to be dying. Marco is able to continue to hold on to the back of Callum, who was comprehensively quicker in qualifying.
Yeah, it's quite surprising. One thing I have noticed, these hard tyres, so Salo is now on the hard compounder tyre, so he's more comfortable on them at the minute. But he is going to get a little bit of an undercut here. So is this going to help him jump any places? J. Cole now, the top 3 are starting to pull away from J. Cole a bit. It's up to 4 seconds now. So I think it's going to be down to the top 3. And when they pit, that's going to be the key thing, because if you're getting clear air on this game, it's massive. Dirty air on this game is really, really quite strong, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah, definitely. The way they've simulated it to how it actually affects the car in real life, I'm actually really happy with. As you can see, Marco comes into the pits, gets it slowed down just before. And we're seeing a few penalties out there. Should we flick over and see? We got a few 10 seconds. I presume that's speeding in the pits. And Joe's got himself a 3 second, which I presume is corner cutting. We flick over to the stops and you can see that all the way from 10th down have completed a stop already. Plus you've got 3 drivers who have done this lap.
So let's see. So we got the 4 drivers now. Marco, Kieran, J. Cole and Lord Brocco all in the pit lane. Kieran's going to...
So Kieran was on mediums. He's gone to soft, so he's going softs to the end, which I actually think might be a good strategy call.
I think so. So I think Kieran's going to be in an absolutely brilliant position here now, because Callum has stayed out. So these guys are going to get an undercut. Now, if these guys are a bit smart now, they won't fight too hard at this stage and just use this lap to try and jump Callum if they can. We're going to have to wait and see. Callum's obviously going to do a soft run as well. But I think we're going to see these guys possibly jump ahead of Callum, and Callum's going to come out finding himself in third place. Let's see.
Joe on the back of Jess, been on the back of Jess for a few laps, so struggling to get past the Red Bull. So it looks like Jess has got some straight line speed. Of course, setups are allowed here. Parc Ferme was set to off, so drivers could change it between qualifying and the race. But yeah, medium runners, everyone is pitted except for the 5 medium runners in the top 5. Callum comes into the pits now, so this will be really interesting. Larkin follows him in. What will Just do? Just comes in. Joe stays out for another lap. He's happy on those mediums for now. And you got the Mercedes coming in. So Marco and Kieran are nose to tail as they come through the final corner. Abby, nice bit of curve there for Marco. And let's see, where is he going to come out in comparison to Callum? Because the pit lane's obviously further up the exit.
I can't work out. So where is he? There he is. There he's coming out. I think he's going to just about do it. Has he? Yeah.
He's done it by a margin.
Yeah, I think Callum possibly saved a lot of ERS and then dumped it on his in-lap, which is the way to do it. So he's actually got himself a nice buffer now, and he is out of DRS, importantly.
Yeah, I think the two behind will be surprised to see him 1.3 ahead, but that just shows you the overcut working for Callum here on F125. You didn't often see that in previous games.
No, this is the good thing. I think that the strategy variants you're going to see now are going to be brilliant to watch, because you can get undercuts and you can get overcuts as well if you've got that pace and you've saved some ERS. So it's going to be a lot more tactical, I think, this game, which is, I think, a brilliant addition. So who have we got left at pit? Let's have a look.
Just Joe, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, just Joe. So Joe's going to be coming in very, very shortly, I would have thought. So Joe's the only one out there at the minute, as J. Cole and Salo are having a great battle over 6th place. J. Cole gets in front of Salo. Larkin is just about to get involved in this party as well.
Yeah, and you can see down the back in 15th, the Mercedes man is just about, I was following this through this lap, so you're going to try and sling it down the inside. The Ferrari's fighting it, cuts the corner to kind of avoid contact, and Lord Brocco manages to stay hard. But on those hard tyres, he's going to struggle to keep this Mercedes man on softs behind. Yellow flag, who's this? Is that Joe?
Let's have a look.
There's a Ferrari off. Patino just went wide.
Joe is in the pit lane. We're back to green flag conditions, so possibly a minor thing there. So Joe's come out now. He's in 10th place. He's got lovely fresh softs on. Can he catch Jess ahead? So Jess currently in 9th place. Larkin in 8th on those fresh softs. And Salo now, he's dropped off the back of J. Cole at the minute. I think Salo might find these hard tyres a bit of a struggle to get heat into, but they are easier to get heat into than previous games, so they're a much better race tyre than before, I think.
So that gap hovering about 1.5 seconds between the top two. So remember, there will be fastest lap points for the driver inside the top 10 and the driver outside the top 10. So we'll be seeing the drivers outside the top 10 perhaps come into the pits. Maybe Casper will think about that, or Coulter towards the end of this race to try and grab themselves points. But Kieran seemingly unable. The mediums and the softs I feel are quite evenly matched around the reverse layout here, Colt.
Does seem so, doesn't it? There's not a lot in it at all. Callum is pulling a little bit away from Marco, but not dramatically. Kieran, now what interests me is Kieran looks like he's got better pace, but he just cannot get past at this stage. He is really struggling to be able to get close enough to have a go at Marco, and he's got a 3-second penalty, so at the moment he is not on the podium.
Yes, whether he can eke out that gap, not too sure. No further DRS zones further down the field. Jess is closing in on Larkin, so Larkin perhaps showing a little bit of rust from sitting out last season. And as you said, Joe's trying to catch up to Jess, but Jess showing some good pace. I think Jess is going to have a good season in season 27. She's showing some really strong, consistent pace whenever I've practiced with her. And as you said, will we have 2 tiers? Will we have 3 tiers? It will all depend on how many drivers sign up, of course, Cole. But sign-ups for season 27 for One Hub Racing will be coming soon. And we're very excited to announce all the exciting things we have planned. And we should probably take the time just to thank our sponsors and partners, Vespertine, SimGrid, and Next Level Racing.
Yeah, some amazing kit that Next Level Racing offer. They've obviously got a new rig out now as well, so it's an FIA registered one as well. And you can do it in either GT position or Formula position. I got to be honest, it looks tremendous. And of course, we got all the wonderful apparel from Vespertine as well. And I have seen the T-shirt because Mason's got one, and it is marvellous. And I can't wait to buy my own. I got to be honest, I will be doing that very shortly, as we've only got a couple of laps to go. Nick, this has flown by.
Yeah, we're not used to 25% races, as we're going to see a Red Bull and Mercedes try and go side by side through Stowe. They kept it next to each other. That was really good, and the Mercedes gets ahead of Gaza on those fresher and quicker, softer compound of tyres. Kieran, by the way, has just eked out over 3 seconds, so he should be able to hang on to the podium places there. And Salou looks like he could potentially be holding on to 6th position, as well as Gerald Mason just slowly clawing him in. But I don't think he's going to be able to get as much time as he needs before the end of this race.
But I think Mason's going to be delighted with 7th place. You know, he'd be delighted with 7th in a inverted commas normal One Hub race. Where we've got the tier system, knowing that he's racing against, you know, drivers that probably won't be in his league, in his tier, sorry. He is going to be delighted with 7th place if he can keep it on the black stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's always good experience for drivers who are perhaps normally racing in a lower tier to race against some of these, you know, quicker drivers. They're drivers who I always feel like I can learn something from whenever I'm racing quicker foe. But Casper, by the way, it looks like he's ghosted. Don't know if he's still in his car or it's just because he's being lapped by his teammate Callum unarmed. So not a good day for Casper, but he did say he hasn't done any sort of practice around these reverse tracks, so naturally it was always going to be difficult. Vitinho up in 11th place on his return. I think he's had a good race to get that Ferrari up to 11th. Who else, Cole? I wonder if we're going to pick driver of the day.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, why not?
Alrighty.
But
we'll start thinking.
Curie's not out of this podium fight here. He is slowly clawing it back. Now, I wonder whether Kieran's tyres are starting to go off. And Curie's only a couple of tenths off the podium here. Let's have a little look at his his ERS. He's got next to nothing left, to be fair. Kieran's got a little bit more. He's got 30%. Curie's only got about 20-odd%. But can he eke those couple of tenths out now and catch Kieran with just a lap to go?
Yeah, Kieran, obviously... Sorry, Carl, it's just because Kieran will have DRS to help his lap time throughout this lap. But I think that it might be a big ask for Curry to jump on the podium and steal it away from Kieran. But this has been good fun, Cole, and no major incidents. You know, we're a bit worried with no official stewarding, whether we'd see some incidents, but it has to be said, obviously we had the incidents between Jess and Coulter, but I don't think it wasn't anything. It was one of those.
We are very, very lucky here at One Hub with the standard of driving that we do have. We know mistakes happen. Crashes and incidents are going to happen. You know, no one's perfect. Look at the F1 drivers who get paid a squillion pound a second. They do the same thing. They make, you know, screw-ups. But the standard of driving today, I think it's been superb, to be honest.
And Callum's standard of driving has been amazing, finishing by 3 seconds, winning the reverse race. Marco keeps second place, Kieran keeps third place, Curry just finishes 3/10 off in fourth, J. Cole returns to one hub with a fifth place in the top 5. Salu, I think, will be happy with that in 6th. Gerald Mason, as you said, will be happy in 7th. Larkin finishes in 8th. Jess will cross the line to finish in 9th, and Joe will round out the top 10. Wasn't able to make use of the freshest tyres on that second part of the race. Vitinho in 11th. But no, Vitinho drops down. F1 HL jumps up into 11th. So remember, points are scored down to 12th position. So Vitinho will get a point, and the Mercedes man will get 2 points. So I think it was a really good debut from him. Gaza in 13th, Matthias in 14th, Lord Broco in 15th. Coulter crosses the line to take 16th place, and yeah, good learning experience for him.
Yeah, I think that was a great debut, to be honest. Gazaman, nice to see him back. It's going to take him a couple of races to get back in the swing of it, but that was a really solid race for him. You know, he hasn't raced for... Oh, Gaza, you'll have to help me out here, but it's got to be 2 or 3 years, surely. 2 years, maybe? You know,
got to be about 5 seasons, I think, 5-6 seasons. So yeah, 2-3 years.
He's going to be, you know, really rusty. And there we go. There's the new podium celebrations, and you can see the Welsh flag up there as well, which is nice to see.
Yes, well, 17 drivers took part in round 1. We had a few drivers who didn't show up, haven't said anything. So if you are watching and want to join the Reverse Championship, there'll be 2 rounds left over the next 2 Sundays, racing at 5 p.m. UK time. So sign up on SimGrid or join our Discord server, where you'll be able to find all the links you need and join in with the community. Now, Colin, we have to pick driver of the day. Shall we each pick one, and then we can put a vote in the chat? I'll let you have the honours first, because I'm such a gentleman.
I'm going to give it to Salo. That's going to be my vote. Because I don't think he had the optimum strategy, to be fair, because he went on the hard tyres, but he kept it clean. He had a great qualifying. He was keeping up with some very, very quick guys on the mediums. So my vote would be for Salo.
Okie dokie. And I am going to give mine to... I'm going to give it to F1 HL. First time racing in one hub in the Reverse Championship. And finished in 11th. Anytime I rode on board, looked like it was clean, good racing, and you know, that's what one hub's all about. It's not always about the quickest drivers. We want to see good, hard racing, and you know, people who join in with the community and share our love for Formula One. So he's going to be my option for driver of the day.
Yeah, nice one. I think that was, you know, because we don't know the level of experience some of these guys have as well, so a lot of these could be they're certainly inexperienced with one hub, but yeah, that's a really good shout.
Awesome. Mikey asking, how do you get involved? You can just Google One Hub Racing. You'll find us on SimGrid. If you go to SimGrid, we're part of their racing community. You can find the Reverse Championship. As I said, there are a couple spaces available for the next 2 Sundays. Next week is Netherlands, and the week after is Austria. Or just find us on Twitter, Mikey, and you can find the links to join our Discord server, where of course there's plenty of action going on. And speaking of action, Colin, this isn't it for Sunday.
No, we'll be in just over an hour's time. I will be making my One Hub F1 comeback, and I can't flipping wait.
Yes, we have the GOAT Championship starting for the first of 5 or 6 weeks this Sunday at 7 p.m. So join. There'll be, I think, 7 of us racing tonight in a completely new format that we've never done at One Hub Racing before, where every lap that we cross the line will be scored 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and continuously throughout the laps as it count down. So it's Austria tonight, the correct way round, and Colin and I will be racing in that as well as a few others. So those drivers racing will be One Hub legends, of course, those who have plenty of stats and statistics and been around the block in our league. And we're going out to put on a show for anyone who wants to come along and watch. So 7 o'clock tonight, the GOAT Championship. It's going to be hella fun.
Yeah, I can't wait for it. It's going to be, like Nick said, it's such a different format. It's going to be really interesting, good bit of fun, and obviously some good preparation for the main season. Like Nick has said, keep an eye out on our socials for the announcements of season 27. They'll all be done on Discord and on social media, so keep an eye on it, and hopefully we'll see you very soon.
Yeah, thank you very much for everyone watching. Thanks to the drivers who took part tonight in the Reverse Championship. Round 2 next week around Netherlands. The wrong way round, of course, with that banked corner to start the lap. Very good evening to everyone and good night. Hopefully see you join us. You've got Jess and Jamie in the comms box at 7 p.m. for the GOAT Championship. But from Colin and I, that is the end.
Good night all. See you in an hour.